6, a helping hand with your land.
Neil from Essex here with today's 3-Minute Thursday. Today we're going to have a short conversation about draft control. Many of your compact tractors have an open slot there in the side of the fender where the draft control lever goes. I'm going to give you a quick explanation of exactly what that lever does if you choose to install it on your tractor. So on the right-hand side of your tractor, beside the lever for your 3-point hitch control, typically there's another slot in that fender. And very frequently anymore, manufacturers aren't installing the lever that would typically go in there. That lever is called draft control. What draft control is used for is when you have a draft implement behind your tractor. Think a plow, typically, or a disc or something like that, something heavy and ground engaging. Draft control is able to take your 3-point hitch and sense that load in some way. Some ways are mechanical, some ways are electronic, and then cause your 3-point hitch to raise up as that load is pulling back on your tractor. That typically came to popularity on old machines back when we weren't dealing with nearly as much horsepower, and machines were really constrained by the horsepower of their engine. And so when the engine started to work and that load started to pull, the draft control was able to lift the plow up out of the ground and allow you to continue forward efficiently and effectively. On today's compact tractors, we simply don't see guys doing tillage type work like that. And so for the most part, manufacturers have gone away from putting that lever on your tractors because nobody really ever uses it. If for some reason you are in an application that demands draft control, most companies and most tractors are going to have an inexpensive kit that's available in order to install those linkages and levers and put that lever back on your fender. So if you have the application for it, it still is an option, but for 99% of you, there's simply no need for it, and you're going to see a big empty hole right there on your fender. So I'm sitting here in a 100 horsepower utility tractor, and this is the size machine where you typically see a draft lever installed that you may actually use. The way that you set one of these is to set your 3-point hitch to your operating range. Again, if you go back to pulling that plow, you're going to set your 3-point hitch to the depth that you want to be at. You then are going to take your draft control lever and set it somewhere right above where your 3-point hitch is currently set. What's going to happen is when the system starts to sense that load on the tractor pulling and slowing you down, it's going to gradually raise the 3-point hitch up to the point that it hits that upper stop of the draft control lever. Once that load starts to go away, then it'll allow the hitch to raise back down again. So it allows it to ride up and down in that range between where the draft is set and where your 3-point hitch is set. So if for some reason you wanted to disable your draft control completely, taking it and pushing it the entire way forward is going to shut it off, so it now is never going to raise back up again. So if you go back into another implement and you notice your 3-point hitch drafting up and down for some reason and you shouldn't be, it's probably because you've got that lever in the position up above your 3-point, so pushing it the whole way forward will shut it off for the times that it's not in use. This is a system that really started on old farm tractors, and how it works is actually pretty interesting. Some of the oldest machines would have a mechanical spring that when you started to have a load pull, it would start to bend a piece of metal out and push against that 3-point lever in order to make the motion happen. As we've gotten into more modern tractors now, today's big agricultural tractors will typically have a sensor and a small load cell on the lower draft links to actually sense where you're pulling from the base of the 3-point arms right back here where the load is actually centered. So that's a little bit about draft control and why it's missing from your small tractors and available on your big ones. If there's another application that you know of that draft control is sometimes used for, I'd be interested to hear about that down in the comments below. I personally have never really heard it used before in applications outside of plow or tillage work. If we can help you with anything to do with your tractor, parts or service needs you may have, or you're shopping for a new piece of equipment, we're available at www.messex.com or 800-222-3373.